Hi, welcome to my animation channel. In this video, I will talk about the most important thing that you need to become an animator. The most important skill that you should have and you have to develop to become a good animator. And I will also talk about video reference. So let's get started.
I got the perfect part for you. When you move it, you can play a robot monkey. And then I'll send you back in time. Yeah, and you can become president. Yeah, it's perfect for you.
So what is the most important skill to be an animator? That skill is observation. Observation is single-handedly the most important skill that you can have to become a good animator. In fact, not just animation, but any art form, even scientific research cannot be accomplished without the proper observation of the world around you. So observe, observe, observe. That's single-handedly the most important thing that I can tell you to improve your animation right away. So just make it a habit of observing people. Like whenever you go out to some place, I know that in the time of Corona, going out is a little bit risky, and you might be just staying at home most of the time, working from home. But still, whenever you go out a little bit, or even if you watch television, always try to observe that how people are acting, how they are moving, how they are thinking, how they are getting up, how they are sitting down. Simple things. Keep observing. And also try to get away from the computer at times, because these days we are spending so much time in front of the computer that our mind gets clogged at times, and it is also not very good for your thought process, you know. So anything interesting that you see, just try to file it in your mind. Anything interesting, anything that catches your eye, anything that feels appealing to you, just take it in and just keep it there. So whenever you happen to go out, observe people, how they are moving. For example, there are so many things to observe. Like observe how a fat person walks, how a thin person walks, how they move, how they sit, how they get up from a sitting position. You know, there are so many things to observe. Then observe that what is the difference between all these things, between a man and a woman. So is there any difference at all? And if there is, how you can possibly show it while you are animating. Think about these things. These simple things, if you keep thinking, this is actually a very good research for you. Sources of reference can be actually anything. It can be TV, it can be movies, normal live action movies, animation movies, then even novels, storybooks can be a very good source of inspiration, because in novels these authors, they explain what the character is feeling, how the character is behaving. So all these things add up to your mental imagery. So you visualize after reading that what the character is doing. So all these things enhances your knowledge about characters. Then comics is also a very good source for posing. In fact, if you practice drawing poses from the comic book, then your line of action, your posing, your strong poses, your knowledge of strong poses will be enhanced greatly, and in a very short amount of time. So it's just a tip, especially for the beginners, that the source of reference can be anything, but always try to keep live reference, real life reference, as the major portion of your observation. Because what happens generally is that a beginner tends to, it's understandable because they are beginners. So a beginner generally tend to copy reference as it is. So when a beginner is only observing other animation movies as such, or animation that they see on YouTube, what will happen is that they will start to animate in that style, because they will try to copy it as it is. And if a beginner observes only that, so he will actually unknowingly start to animate their version of reality, which will hamper them greatly. So my suggestion is always to observe reality, because when you observe reality and try to copy it, your own style will come out. Video reference is definitely a very big tool for animator. Without video reference, it will be almost impossible for us to deliver good work, because there are so many subtleties that happen while someone is speaking something or doing something, that it is practically impossible for an animator to do everything from imagination. Now at this point I will give you an equation which I think is going to be really helpful for you. Now that equation is, you can see on the computer screen, observation plus shooting and study of video reference plus your instincts and hard work. This amounts to success, and that is kind of a guarantee that I can give you, that if you follow this equation, you will always do work that is up to a certain level. No doubt about that. So this observation and study of reference is very important, because all this, what it does is it gives you clarity regarding the shot that you have. And clarity is very important, because when you have clarity and you know that what is expected from the shot, you can reach it, you can do it properly. Because when you know where you are going, it's easier to reach your destination. But when you don't know where you are going, you hardly ever reach your destination. So all this planning through observation and through taking video reference and then studying it is guaranteeing that you know where you are going, and then it's just a matter of time and a little bit of hard work that you do that. So some of you might be thinking that aren't the 12 principles of animation the most important thing? Shouldn't we keep that in mind? Yes, of course, they are very important, and we will talk about it in the coming videos. But do realize that all the 12 principles of animation are derived from reality, and they are covered in the first two terms of the equation, that is observation and study of the video reference. If you do these two things properly, all the 12 principles will actually be automatically incorporated in your work. But yes, having those 12 principles in your mind or in front of you as a list is very, very good practice, because it helps you when you are, especially when you are a beginner, it helps you to understand what all things should definitely be there in your work and if they are missing or not. And another important thing about the 12 principles of animation is that it helps to communicate with other artists, with another animator. And the principle of appeal is can also be derived from the third term in the equation, that is instinct. After all, instinct is what helps you to judge something will be suitable or not, it would be appealing or not. So by instinct I mean that at this stage you have to judge everything. So collect and study live action carefully, and the best way to do it is you convert your reference into QuickTime movies, because in QuickTime movie you can go frame by frame. So animation is basically a frame by frame art, right? So the study of animation has also got to be done frame by frame, because there are so many things, like I mentioned earlier, I think, that you really cannot understand in real time when you observe it. You just cannot see what is happening in real time. So you have to go frame by frame, and then you will understand that how that action is happening. Another thing that helps is that if you can draw a little bit, even 10-15 minutes of drawing every day, proper drawing every day, will go a long way, and it will really help. You need not be an artist as such. Simple stick figures will do. But that effort of visualization and thinking and then drawing will enhance your capability to transfer your knowledge when you actually hit the software. The next thing is your instinct. Now, by instinct, what I mean actually is it's a faculty that you have which is very powerful, and you have to use it to judge everything. Judge your video references. So after this, all that remains is to really put in your hard work to see that all these things are combined and then delivered as the final shot. because in production we cannot always be like, oh, I am a great artist and I want to spend whole life in this shot and I will make it the perfect shot. It doesn't happen in real life. In real life, in production, the company will give you a certain amount of shots and they expect you to do them in a particular amount of time. It depends on the company to company. So maybe you have weekly or even daily targets or even monthly targets. So you have to give the targets, and when you have to give targets, you will have to have a plan. You just cannot, be dreamy and idealistic about it, because you are a resource to them, and every resource costs something. So according to the cost, output will be expected. And all this planning will also ensure that you are not wasting your time, because if you start animation without all this observation and study, you will inevitably be wasting your time later on, because you will do something and you will see that, oh, it's not working. Then you will get confused. Okay, what really I had to do? What was my plan? So you will realize that you didn't have any plan. You just had some whimsical thoughts at the beginning of the shot, and you just wanted to get into the software and do it, but now you are facing problem. So always avoid all this kind of haste to get into the software. Don't be in a hurry to get into the software. Study, observe, plan, understand what you need to do, and then get into the software, and you will find that the speed is really coming from that understanding. Yeah, so that's about it. See you next time. Bye.